What's up, everybody? I hope you're doing well. So today we're going to continue our series where we address your biggest fears in private practice, at least according to an Instagram poll that I put out there about a month ago. And last time we addressed your most named fear in that poll, which was, what if I don't get enough clients for my practice? Today we're going to address your second most named fear, and that was, what if I don't make enough money in private practice? And that's such an important question. Definitely it's connected with the first fear, but it also has some nuanced differences. So in today's video, we're gonna address your second biggest fear in private practice, and that is, what if I don't make enough money in private practice? Welcome to Private Practice Skills. I'm Dr. Marie Fang, psychologist in private practice. I post videos offering tools I learned the hard way about starting and growing private practice so that you don't have to. Now, from my perspective, there are kind of two sub-threads within this fear of not making enough money in private practice. The first is the fear of, not getting enough clients and therefore not making enough money in private practice. And the second fear is related to, even if you have a full caseload of clients, that it's still not generating enough income in order to sustain your lifestyle, or just not the income that you'd hoped for. Now, because I already made a video addressing that first component of, what if I don't get enough clients in private practice, I'm not going to rehash that content. If you're falling in that camp, then I've linked to that video below. Feel free to check it out. But in today's video, we'll address that second piece, which is, what if even if I have a full caseload, I'm still not earning the income that I want? Now, it's worth noting, if you are in this camp and you're seeing primarily insurance-based clients, then it is an option for you to consider seeing more private pay clients or potentially converting exclusively to private pay clients, because most likely you can see even just a fraction of the number of clients that you were seeing from insurance models and probably earn more income while you're at it. If you're interested in learning more about that, I have a whole video about how to transition from accepting insurance to moving to a private pay practice. That might be a good fit for you to make sure you're generating the income that you want. But if you are happy with your current insurance setup, or maybe your clients are already private pay clients and you're still not happy with your income, then it is probably time to explore those alternative income streams. Now, don't get me wrong, it's totally possible to have a solo practice where you see individual clients week in and week out and earn a completely comfortable living as a therapist. However, if you're finding that your caseload is full and you're just not loving where your income is capping out, then you probably need to start exploring some other streams of income. Now, there's some good news. This is true for me as well as for a lot of therapists that I speak with, but most therapists seem to prefer investing in more than one income stream because you're passionate about seeing your clients and helping them, but you also have emotional limits, so it's probably not a healthy option to see 30 or 40 clients a week in private practice. And you're a person with diverse interests, passions, and values. So by having more than one income stream, you have different places to invest your time and energy. Your life feels more balanced and integrated. I mean, it's kind of a win across the board for most people. And to pile on the good news, whatever your interests, passions, or values are, there's probably an income stream that's right for you. Whether you go a more traditional route like hiring on employees, or if you're interested in something else like teaching, starting a podcast, writing a book, doing a course, whatever it might be, there are as many income stream possibilities as you can imagine. Now, here's the catch. For most of these revenue streams that I just mentioned, you will probably need to invest a significant amount of your time and energy before they start generating a profit for you. Now, I did address this item in a recent video I posted about how I tripled my private practice paycheck by generating passive income, but an important takeaway from that video is I worked my bottom off for 2 years straight, investing at least 20 hours a week in private practice skills before I really started generating a sizable income from it. Now, I'm not at all trying to say that the only way to generate another stream of income is to put in 2 years of work without getting paid for it. Not at all. But I think it is a nice, helpful, kind of loose rule of thumb that for the higher income potential items that you might seek out, the longer it'll take for you to get there before you really start generating that level of income. So I mean, just as a small example, one really easy access way to generate some passive income is you could start subletting your office on the days that you're not using it. It's probably not going to triple your paycheck. I mean, that would be pretty incredible if it did, but it's also not going to take you very long to add that nice little bonus cushion of passive income to your practice. Or as a different example, your income earning potential is even higher than that if you decide to hire on an employee. But along with that, you have to consider that you need to add on extra effort to make sure you not only fill your own caseload, but your employee's caseload as well. You also need to cover their taxes, and you might even consider hiring on an additional employee in order to make sure, billing and other sort of admin items are covered. And by the way, you probably need a bigger space so that there's room for both you and your employee to run their practices. So the overhead expenses really ratchet up when you take on an employee, and it might take longer before you really see that higher level of profit come through from your employee. You could also go other kind of more traditional routes of adjunct teaching or offering your services as a consultant to local agencies, or other kind of traditional routes where you tend to trade your time for your money still. Now, because it is a trade of time for money, there's still an income cap with these avenues, but for a lot of therapists in private practice, this balance of doing clients in private practice and say maybe teaching grad school courses in addition to that allows you to kind of flex all of your interests and passions in a sustainable way and maybe also generate the income that you're after. Now, if you are hoping to scale your income above and beyond this kind of level, then you are probably going to need to look at some avenues that involve growing an audience. So whether it's writing a book, launching a podcast, public speaking gigs, whatever it might be, it's going to take some time to build that audience before you can sell something to them or have a sponsor, whatever it might be, that starts generating that higher level of passive income. Of course, this option has the highest potential to scale upwards continuously because there's a passive component to generating that income, but it's likely going to take you a long time to get to that point. I mean, I shared in that earlier video that it took me 2 years to get to a point where I was really generating a significant income passively through private practice skills. And I've heard from colleagues in the field who've been working even much longer than that and still aren't turning a profit from their side business. So this is something to keep in mind and be aware of if you're wanting to scale your income to that higher level. But after naming all of those disclaimers, it might really still be a great fit for your skills and your values to go this route of kind of investing long-term in order to scale your income. So now circling back to this fear of not earning enough income in private practice, I encourage you to think through these questions to help problem solve what the best solution is for you. So first, start by asking the question, how much income are you hoping to eventually be able to make all in all? So let's say, for example, you're earning $80,000 a year just seeing your therapy clients in private practice, and you'd really like to cross the $100,000 a year threshold. Well, then you don't necessarily have to go all out. You could just make a few tweaks and reach that point. I mean, one, maybe it's time to raise your rate, more on that in a future video, but also maybe you could sublet your office. If it's a good fit for you, you could take on a contracted employee and you get a little cut of their pay. Or, maybe you love teaching, you could take on an adjunct teaching job and you probably make up the difference of that gap on a yearly basis. But as a different example, let's say you're earning $100,000 a year in private practice and your goal is to eventually scale up to say $400,000 a year of income. You're not going to earn $400,000 a year just working with your clients in your solo practice. If you did want to go the route of hiring on employees, you would need to scale that up in a pretty big way in order to eventually get to $400,000 a year. And group practices aren't the best fit for every therapist. Not all of us are built to be a good manager. It might potentially be more work than you bargained for, etc. But it is an option if it's a good fit for you. You could really scale and open up multiple group practices, for example, and hit that number eventually. Or if the group practice management route is not the best fit for you, which is probably true for the average therapist, to be honest, but you're open to spending 4 years building up to $400,000 a year, then one of the audience building routes is probably going to be the best fit for you. So you can consider then what audience would you like to speak to, what product might you eventually like to sell to them, and how can you build that audience. If you're curious about that, I do address that a little bit more in my recent video about how I tripled my private practice income through passive income, so I've linked to that below if you want to check it out. And thank you to TherapyNotes.com for sponsoring this video. When you're talking about finding ways to streamline your income and scale it upwards, you don't need to be worried about how to manage your practice. TherapyNotes helps with scheduling, notes, and billing, and offers a HIPAA-secure telehealth platform for you to securely meet with your clients. If you'd like to check out TherapyNotes, you can get 2 months to try it out for free with no commitment just by clicking the link in the description of this video. Well, I hope you liked this video, and best wishes to you as you explore kind of different streams of potential income as a therapist. It's an exciting world. Let me know in the comments if there's some combination of income streams that seems to be a really good fit for you. And until next time, from one therapist to another, I wish you well. Oh, there's a person. Hello, person outside.